Hey guys, welcome to our first episode of BMW Sim Racing Academy. Max, tell us actually for what sim racing stands.
Yeah, well, when you talk about sim racing, you have to focus on the word sim, which means simulation. So compared to the usual racing games you have, it's a lot more realistic, and you have tire data, you have fuel, you have everything else you have to manage, what you also know from the real world. You actually come from the real racing world as being a DTM champion. So you can tell us, how close is sim racing actually to the real racing world?
So sim racing has evolved massively in the last couple of years, and it's a passion for me. It has become a passion. I think it's so close to reality, talking about the tracks, the curbs, the bump. If you want to learn a new track, if you go on the sim before, it's going to help you massively. The physics of the car are very close, the tire behavior, fuel consumption. There's a lot of things you can simulate that you're going to do in reality, and it trains your concentration, your focus. During the winter when we drive less real races, I want to be on my sim as much as I can to be ready for the season. Max, tell us how a famous sim racer like you got started.
Yeah, well, for me, sim racing started before I even knew what it was. I grew up watching Formula One races basically every time. And then, I quickly got into sim racing because real racing is very expensive and sim racing isn't. So then I tried to do my best in different leagues I did in different kind of games. And then I finished up on iRacing, which is the simulation I'm still on right now. And for me, it's just the best. And in the end, everything came together.
Impressive, impressive. Something even more impressive, Max is on top of the rankings on iRacing. Tell us your road until there.
Yeah, for me, when I switched to iRacing, it was actually very difficult because it's completely different to everything you knew from before. So you had to get used to the braking style, to the strategy, because it's also very important to be intelligent in the races. So, but in the end, I had good teammates, and after a couple of months, I got used to it. And everything came together at the end, and I'm happy to be there now.
So Max, in real racing, I have G-force that helps me feel the car. I guess it's hard to simulate in sim racing. Tell us about your setup. How can you simulate all this?
Yeah, as you said, we don't have the G-forces, and we still need to be quick on the track, so we need to know exactly what we're doing. And for that, we want to have the best hardware possible. So instead of just having one screen, we want to have 3 screens so that we can see the cars on the left and the right-hand side. We want to have a brake pedal which actually feels quite naturally so that you exactly feel what you're doing. And the same with the steering wheel. You want to have as much input as possible to actually know what you're doing on track and what the car is doing. So we have a great setup here. Tell us about your setup. How is it looking?
Yeah, my setup is very similar to yours, but in the next episode, we're going to show you that you don't necessarily need the most expensive hardware to have a great setup.